This video is going to be just a little different. I'm not going to tell you what lens to buy, what is the best accessory for you to get, but I'm going to tell you about me and who am I and what is Broke Visionary Collective. What is BVCCO? What the hell does that even mean? Who am I? Who is this person that's telling you about these videos? I'm going to tell you everything about me, my story, and if you don't want to know that, feel free to not watch this video, but I'm going to tell you, and it's going to get real, up close and personal. And if you're wondering, I'm not wearing this outside, this is just what I sleep in, you know? Of course, I would never wear something like this outside. So, if you've been watching this far and you don't know who I am yet, my name is Peter, and I'm from British Columbia, Vancouver, Canada. And why did I decide to get into content creation and being a video editor? Well, it kind of goes a little way back, and it started off with me in high school. And one of my first cameras was actually this guy right here. This is a JVC circa 2007, 2008. This actually had a hard drive, super advanced. I remember this actually costing $1,000 and it was gifted to me, right? I asked my dad that I needed a video camera for a film project. And I needed something that did not have like an SD card and need something with an internal drive. I don't know why I was so afraid of SD cards looking back then, but I was only a kid, and this is what I filmed with. This was my first video camera ever. And this might actually play a future role in a future Broke on a Budget. If you want to see me film this and see what I can do with it, with its glorious 2-megapixel camera, an f1.2 lens, but this was one of my first cameras, and this is one of the reasons why I started falling in love with video and content creation. So, growing up, I didn't have a lot of money. I grew up with immigrant parents that didn't really speak English and preached to me a certain way to how I should have lived my life. And I remember going against the traditional grain of, hey, you should become a doctor or a lawyer or an engineer. But I remember the feeling of putting together that project that I filmed with that camera. Something just all clicked for me. I remember such an exhilarating time where I was like putting together these clips that I'm filming and I'm directing. I'm like, hey, you should stand there. Hey, you should stand there. And I'm gonna cut it so it looks like you guys are looking at each other. I'm gonna put some slow motion and it's gonna be so funny and so dramatic. That's when I was like, it hit me. I'm like, this is what I was supposed to do with my passions and love, because at the end of the day, it made me happy. And I realized that the older I got, I started to lose that sense of what that was and what that internal compass was. And I come from a creative background. My soul cries and thirsts and starves for creativity. And the more older I got, the more I realized that I'm a creative at heart, and that's something that will never change. Yes, you need to make money making a living, but you also need to do what makes you happy. A lot of my life revolved around me not following this compass. And when I finally found videos and why it was so exciting to me was I was able to finally just feel like I could control the world in this weird way where it's like I was cutting time and I'm like, I can make exactly how I want this final project, and how I could take something in my brain that never existed in time and put together in a video format. And I remember falling in love with that process of making videos. And I went through all the way through high school, and every time I had the opportunity to make a video, and in comparison to like a class presentation, I am so awkward and introverted and I stutter and all this stuff, I always chose the video method. Once I chose video, I just felt this thrill that I can't explain. And if you're a video maker and you're a creative at heart, you would understand. When I started this whole video journey, it was very lonely, in the sense that like no one supported me, because one, like, I didn't know how to produce videos when I first started. I know this video is really overblown, but you know, content is that it was very lonely, in the sense that I didn't know how to produce videos. No one taught me how to edit a video, and I felt like I was very alone. But look at this view. So what did I do? I started looking up YouTube videos on how do I edit in Premiere Pro. And one thing about me was that I always watched YouTube. Even though I didn't have a lot of friends and I wasn't the most outgoing or talkative person, one thing that always made me feel at home, that was watching YouTube videos. And soon after, I realized, wait, I have a lot of fun making YouTube videos. So this is where I live, in Vancouver. As you can see there, you have beautiful skyline right there, cityscape. And right in the middle, you have there is Burnaby Mountain. And look at this composition right here. Anyways, is that I felt really alone in terms of not having anybody's help, let alone not a lot of people supported me in what I wanted to do. And I remember I even went to university doing something that I didn't really want to do. And it wasn't until like the last semester where I was like, wait a minute, I actually like doing this video thing. Why not I give this a try, even though I had no experience, no education? How about I just start making YouTube videos for fun and see where this goes? And when I finally finished university, I was working a bunch of dead-end jobs. I worked as a line cook. I remember just like sweeping the floor, all so that I could save up money so I could buy my Nikon camera. And I finally decided, wait a minute, what if I start trying to do this more professionally, right? So I remember working in a kitchen one time, and I remember the owner was actually looking for someone to make videos, and I was like, I'm your person. There's birds there, oh god. But and that's how I started. And then once I started picking up the ball and getting more freelance clients on the side, that's when I was like, wait a minute, I can actually do this part-time. So I started doing part-time video work, and eventually I built up a clientele, which eventually built up the experience that I could work in a digital marketing agency full-time for 2 years as their sole lead videographer, video editor, content producer, which then led me to working in a digital marketing agency for roughly 3 to 4 months, and then working for influencers, contractors, and being pretty much a full-time contracted video person. And it all started from me having this crazy dream and idea, even though I felt really alone and like no one really supported me in this video thing. I had this burning desire in me to make videos. And when I started making YouTube videos, that's when I felt most alive. That's when I felt I could connect to the world. Even though videos now, feels like it's really oversaturated and everyone wants to make money off the internet and become a YouTuber. Just because you pick up a camera does not mean you're a YouTuber, right? It's about storytelling. It's about being your most authentic self. And YouTube has helped me a lot in terms of teaching me how to video edit it. And I didn't have a place where I was like, where do I turn to when I need help with this? And I had to pretty much do everything by myself. I had to learn how to edit by myself. No one taught me. Every time I go to an interview, they're like, oh, so did you go to film school, or did anyone teach you how to edit? Do you have any certifications? I'm like, hell to the no. I taught myself pretty much everything in terms of how I edit, how I put together storytelling, how do I just make content. And it comes from a lot of trial and error. And every one of my YouTube videos is me documenting my own process of how I actually learned what I learned, and I'm putting out there to teach you guys. Because when I first started, it was very lonely. It was a very place where it's like, wait, you want to make videos on the internet? This is way before it became like an actual thing. Now it's like, oh yeah, if I'm an influencer, people actually get it, right? People still don't. And, you know, my immediate family doesn't really support me, and I never had that sense of support that I felt like I needed, and which is why I created this YouTube channel. It was the point where it's like, I was gonna make a community. If I couldn't find the community, I was gonna make the community. And I started making videos to teach people what I already knew when it comes to filmmaking. I'm not Peter McKinnon, but I'm Peter from Broke Visionary Collective. Broke meaning that, you know, I don't come from money. Like, nothing was ever handed to me. I always had to go out and get it myself. Look at that. The composition though, but I had to learn everything by myself. I had to learn, and no one helped me. So it's like, not making it like a pity party, you feel me? But it was like, I needed to help myself. And now that I'm able to like help myself, I wanted to just share my knowledge and create a community. Hence why it's called Broke Visionary. So broke as in start off with nothing. I worked with what I got. Even though people clowned on me for like, hey, you have a Nikon video? I'm like, oh yeah, I'll show you what I can do with that Nikon video. So I started with the Nikon video, and then eventually I moved up into going into like Sony's and then Canons. So broke as in you don't need money as an excuse for you to stop creating videos, right? Vision as in having something that in the world, oh, I'm gonna walk on the other side. Vision as in something like you have an idea and you want to put it out there into the world. That is what we call having a vision. And then next is collective. What is a collective? A collective is essentially a group of people where we share common ideas within any sort of common mindset. And for me, that was creativity and creating content, right? And company is my end result and goal is to be able to replicate, as selfish as it sounds, to replicate me and have some sort of family where we can all help each other out and we create something from nothing, right? So they don't want to make this too much of a long and winded emotional little pity party me, but you know, that's my little backstory of how I got into content creation and what it means to me. It means I'm an awkward person that's a turtle, but I can put together decent storylines, and I'm really into making movies for the internet, and you don't need the fanciest gear and equipment to do all that stuff, right? That's always been my motto. Always.
It's not a game, it's a rich thing.
Am I recording? Okay. But that's enough yapping. Come 2021, I want you guys to know more about me and also push my own self out of my own comfort zone. So My name's Peter. If I helped you in any way, give this video a thumbs up, subscribe, hit that bell if you want to stay tuned to be part of the Broke Visionary Collective family. If you need help on your content creation journey, grab my free PDF guide on how you become and you know all of the video equipment that you need when you first start out, even if you're a complete beginner. And if you really want to get serious about video, link in the description. Go get my course on how you can use any camera, even if it's a Nikon camera. It's literally a 1-hour crash course, and I break down my own portfolio of which camera lenses you need in audio, and trust me, it's worth it. So check that out, link in the description. My name is Peter. You're watching Broke Visionary Collective. Thanks for being part of my journey, and I'll see you guys in the next one.